All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to our campaign of Ironsworn Starforged, the Crystalline Shadows. Sorry, it's been a while since my last video. I went to a convention, for those who didn't see my post, so it was going to be a week late, and then I ended up getting the dreaded con flu. So, I might sound a little bit weird, I'm still coming down from the end of it, but I am back enough to get you guys a video. So, welcome back, everybody, and let's get into it. Last we left off, Ash had captured a prisoner and taken them to a derelict on the planet Dusk, which is a sort of proto-planet that wasn't really worth the resources or the trouble it would have been to make it livable, so it kind of got forgotten about. A different colony ship sent a scouting ship called the Matara, and they ended up coming in contact possibly with our predecessors. We're not really sure who specifically they had a conflict with, but they were shot down. And they had previously scouted some other stuff in a different sector of space and found some precursor technology that our prisoner Vanderbond, the scout leader of the Scarlet Shards, was using to help them with a medical condition that they seem to have. Once we got the data from that crashed ship of the location and found that they were in a different sector that was in a different region of space, we returned home to Purgatory and turned them in, and then requested help to what's the word? We requested that we were allowed to take Vanderbond with us because they are a bit of a scholar on precursor technology and whatnot. So we thought that they would be a useful resource, and we were told no by our commander. I did not save their name. I'm gonna have to go back and check the recording. Yeah, because this is the government agent and this is our information contact. So don't remember if I even named them or if they were just the boss. But now we have to figure out what to do. What is Ash going to do in this situation? He does not think that he will be able to do his best work on his own. Him and Scout Bond had formed a rapport, and Ash was really banking on having their help, even if they are technically the enemy. Ash is not so prideful that he cannot recognize a resource that can prove useful. So this is a difficult spot, because if he were just to obey orders, Ash would just rest and recuperate, which he's going to do. Let's do that. Let's do a little bit here. I am just going to bump his health back up to 5. I think that is, we are in a capital city, which is our HQ in the headquarters in this sector. We have assets, we have people here. I think just, taking some time. There's no real rush. The immediate danger of his initial mission or assignment was has been taken care of, and now he's got some time, so he's going to take a few days and rest up and recuperate and contemplate. But because we're lower on supply and spirit than just the one away, I'm gonna roll for those to see. So just some almost housekeeping healing up here. First, our supply is the lowest, so we're going to resupply. That's the word I'm looking for. When you attempt to bolster your readiness, envision the opportunity and your approach. Barter or make an appeal, roll heart. Threaten or seize, roll iron. Steal or swindle, roll shadow. Scavenge or craft, roll wits. We don't have to craft or scavenge. And we have systems in place. So this is going to be, I think, like with heart, we're just gonna go, we're gonna say, hey, this is what I've got, this is where I'm going, this is the kind of stuff I need, how much can I have? So we're gonna roll plus heart to try to resupply. Strong hit with a match. So on a strong hit, choose one. If you're unprepared, clear the impact, take +1 supply. We are not unprepared. I think we did get close at one point to having one of these bottom out and for us to get an impact, but we did not. So we take 2 supplies, so we're up to 4. That's awesome. Strong hit with a match. That is what? Let me see exactly. So on a strong hit, the match should represent a twist in the narrative, something interesting, or a new opportunity. So what I think would be really helpful is some information. And I was planning to get to this in a bit, to at least attempt to get to this. But if they're just going to let us, the dice say we can have it now, we should take it now. So what I'm going to say is this opportunity that Ash gets is when he goes to the quartermaster, who he'd probably have to go to get, supplies, and he's getting like, rations for preserved space flight and some extra parts and replenish the sensors that were used and repair materials and maybe a fresh suit because he took some damage, so he'd want instead of whatever little patch jobs he had to do, maybe he gets a fresh armor armor set or just protective suit, not quite full on armor. But while he's doing that and he's filling out the requisition forms and stuff, he's chatting with this quartermaster. Maybe they have to leave for a minute, and the Ash happens to notice that some of the files on their terminal that they had pulled up were I guess prisoner is the best word. Prisoner files. They were looking at, just getting people shifted around, making sure everyone is taken care of, and that they're just the usual upkeep of like maintaining how many, we have this many people, here's where they are, this is what food they need, and any special necessities and stuff. For instance, a certain new detainee that has a medical condition that catches Ash's eye, and he can see like their location, the schedules for the doctors to check them out, their food, their meal rotation, stuff like that. So it's information that may prove useful if Ash decided to go against orders and maybe take somebody with him. So he gets a good look at that, And then the quartermaster comes back and with the, like, a approved requisition form and like his Ash's copy, so it's like it'll be delivered to your ship, blah blah blah. So that's all taken care of. Ash says goodbye and he goes on his day. And I think what he's gonna do is is Sojourn what he wants here? Okay, yeah, no, Sojourn is not quite what we're looking for. Hearten is more along the lines of the straight recover move that he wants to do. So when you socialize, share intimacy, or find a moment of peace, roll plus heart. And this was a very stressful mission. I know his spirit got really low for quite a while, and it was only through some lucky rolls that it was brought back up, both with Vander Bond's initial uncaring disposition to their predicament as a prisoner, and just the stress of it being his first mission and things not going to the ideal pace that he wanted to do. So he's gonna take some time. Ash is gonna go for a walk. He's gonna change into his normal clothes, get out of his armor that he's been in for a while. He doesn't have his sword. He doesn't have his pistol because it's a closed city. They control who goes in and out, and even if the Scarlet Shard agents have proven that they can get in and out, he doesn't expect that they will be hitting anytime soon, considering their outpost in the region was destroyed and their higher-ups was captured. Even if they did really help themselves get captured with some ulterior motives. So Ash feels safe here, and he's going to take a walk and find a nice peaceful spot. Maybe find one of the upper level areas that is kind of the open air part of the atrium. One of those situations where it's like, you know, you've got the atrium on the ground floor and the upper floors are kind of like rings around, so someone can like look over a balcony at the people below and the trees and maybe a little water feature. And he's just gonna watch his people go about. He isn't part of the government, but he does see himself as a protector. So he's gonna take a minute. And he's going to look around and remind himself what all that ability was for. And he's going to roll plus heart once again. And that is a miss. And I think that's appropriate. He sits there and it's initially peaceful. It's people are going about their day and people, maybe there's a little family sitting and having lunch at one of the tables next to this little artificial pond amidst all the trees that have been brought in and so painstakingly maintained. And then he sees a security patrol come through, and they're not harassing anybody. They're not doing anything wrong, but he's reminded of the authority that he works under. That everything they do here is ultimately under the greater jurisdiction of the government of this capital city, and that he is a green agent, relatively new, and he might be in good standing, but he is ultimately a grunt in the organization. He's given easier missions, you know, go scout this place, and then you're there, try your hand at taking it out. And he's been given the company has shown what are we named again here? The Shattered Regiment has shown that they are willing to be flexible. They're willing to let him do what he sees right. But they also aren't going to let him just have free reign in that regard. Because really what he does believe is the right thing to do would be what is best for everyone, which is to take the expert that he knows of, Vanderbond, that is the only person that he has ever met who is a learned historian or a learned student of precursor technology and history, and take them both to help navigate and then to search and analyze whatever precursor ruins they find. And they told him no. What he sees is going against the greater good, and that's going to cause conflict. And I think that our pay the price here is just going to be a hit to Spirit. Spirit is low. He isn't happy with his situation. He realizes that maybe his higher-ups are more worried about the conflict with the Scarlet Shards than with making the Forge a better place, which is what he joined to do. So his peace and attempt to center himself has sent him into more internal conflict. So he has to think on some stuff. And I think, as I'm also seeing that our starship is kind of damaged, I think to do that, he is going to repair the Stellar Hawk. We know that he is a tech-minded person, but we are at a facility now. And we're going to make our own repairs. I think, yeah, that makes sense. He's going to do his own repairs, even if supply is better. Excuse me, even if his supply is better. This is therapy for Ash Yeager. Working on the Stellar Hawk, on his little ship. He's going to go. It's in a dock. It's in a proper facility now, so we're going to be able to do something a little better. We're going to roll plus wits and see what we get. Really? A miss. All right. On a miss, repairs are not made and the situation worsens. Let's see here. This is okay. So we pay the price. And these are our suggested results. So what stands out to me, few of these make sense. An individual or community acts against you. I believe we did roll and determine that he's not in trouble for forsaking his original mission that he was given to destroy the outpost in order to capitalize on Scout Bond's presence. Okay, I'm gonna say you waste resources. We'll do this. We'll take a hit to our supply. I'm gonna say this represents him just being completely lost in his own thoughts. Ash is totally conflicted. Every fiber of his being is saying to go and to get Scout Bond and to get to and just bail and go. They can't. They could possibly follow him, but once he leaves, it's he made the mistake of asking permission, so he'll have to beg for forgiveness anyway. But I think this inability to focus and to fix his ship, which is usually a comforting and centering process as he gets lost in, you know, the technical details of repairing something, and you know, it's I think it solidifies his plans that he is going to go and get Scout Bond. So after probably a few hours of just not really doing any repairs, but like starting a few repairs and then being like, oh, this is a lot of work, maybe I'll go start with something easier, he just eventually just chucks the wrench he's holding back into his toolbox and kicks that under a desk or a table in the workshop, and it's just, you know, all right, screw it. And he gets his gear back on, and puts his serious face back on, and he gets ready to go to work. Before we do that, however, we do have some experience from this. I think I need to uncheck this because I think you check those when you've used them. So we do possibly have 2 experience that we can use. Challenges. Let's see if we've got anything else. Discover and explore the precursor site. Yeah, but where is advance? Is that a thing here? Earn advance. Okay, so you can use 3 experience to get a new asset, or 2 experience to upgrade an asset. I think we're going to use 2 experience to upgrade our bounty hunter track with the second one. When you gather information related to a bounty, add 1 on a match. You may reveal a surprising or sinister aspect of the contract, envision what you discover, and choose 1. I like this. We're going to take that second one. And I'm going to mark that. So now I'm going to be a little loose with bounty contracts, and just kind of it be any mission that he does, just so this is still useful. Mark. Oh, I didn't do that. I don't think I did this last time, but that's fine. I'll just have to remember when we fulfill vows on a hunt to mark it as 1 rank higher. We need to do some stuff. So, all right. Ash is going rogue. So, what we're gonna do now, I think, because we were gonna have to gather information to find out like good times, but we know when and where and how to get Scout Bond out. So what I think we're going to do is we are going to roll plus shadow. I want to make it a wits roll because wits is really better, but I think this is deception and trickery. We are going, Ash is going to forge some papers. Realistically, it's an electric document probably. Yeah, and he's gonna forge some like custody transfer papers saying that he has authority to take Scout Bond out on some sort of mission. Probably not even a mission. It's really probably going to be like we're transferring him to the government or something like that. But let's see if we can turn those 2 misses that has set us down this path into something helpful. A weak hit, and our momentum can't do anything about it, but that's okay, because in a weak hit, we just get to choose 1. Really what I was worried about was getting +1 on our next move. Because what Ash is going to do is he is going to lie through his teeth. He is going to go to a point that's like the farthest from a check-in. He's gonna wait for like the doctor to come in, give Scout Bond their medicine, and then he's gonna go up to the person and just like flash the paper and be like, I'm here to transfer him on blah blah blah's authority, and he is just going to start lying through his teeth and fast talking and hoping that he gets out of there before anybody double checks. So we're gonna roll plus shadow again with +1. So we'll add +1. And maybe have to burn our momentum here before we get out. I hope not. Ash is trying to look very authoritative and proper, probably to this guy who's still in training. I imagine this might be one of the things you gotta do, is like just learning proper procedure and stuff like that, watching relatively low risk prisoners. Scout Bond might be important, but he's also Scout Bond might be important, but they're also non-threatening. No one's even seen him touch a weapon yet, so hopefully it's okay. So here we go with a compel, shadow +1, as we try to as Ash tries to bluff his way through this. And that is a weak hit that our momentum cannot help. On a weak hit, they'll do as you agree, or agree with your, do as you want or agree with your conditions. Take +1 momentum, but their agreement comes with a demand or complication. Envision their counteroffer. So I think their complication is they have orders to not let this person go, and they're gonna need to double check. So that's a problem. And we need to figure out what we're gonna do. What is Ash's response going to be? I think his response is gonna be violence. He normally tries to talk his way out of things and is willing to negotiate, but this requires decisive action. He doesn't want to hurt this guy, but he thinks if this leads him to what he thinks it's going to be a big deal, and that hopefully the ends will justify the means. Now, I don't want to do a long drawn out combat here, I don't think. So there is this thing called battle, which is just like, it's like a one and done roll for combat. When you fight in a battle and it happens in a blur, envision your objective and roll. And I think this is going to be fight in close and overpower your foe. So he doesn't have time to use careful tactics. He's right in front of the guy. He's not good at range or anything. And the only person that might help him is locked behind that door right there that he needs to get open. So I think we're just gonna battle. Can we fudge Blade Master to help with this? Do we think this is when you clash or strike in close quarters, add +1. There's probably an asset for battling. Let me see if there's an asset for battling. That'll if there's no asset for battling. So there are no assets for the battle move. But you know what? I'm still not gonna count it. Mostly because we're not trying to kill this guy. This person is just probably maybe a year younger than us. They're where we were just a little while ago, just trying to finish up their training. They're probably, you know, ticking through their last classes and stuff. So, you know, I'd say if you can't knock someone unconscious while making full use of your bladed weapon. If it was a blunt weapon, maybe. And flavor-wise, he's absolutely going to use his sword because we have it. It looks cool. But I'm not going to give him the bonus because I don't think he's going all out. So he's not going to not gonna make proper use of it. But we are gonna battle using iron and hope that this works better than the last couple rolls we've done. So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to looking at it, like it looks good, but I'm gonna have to call this in. This was marked as a and Ash is just like, all right, I tried, and he's just gonna just like deck the guy. So plus iron, a miss. We're absolutely. Actually, hang on a second. Let me double check real quick. I think I had to take +1 momentum here. Because it says on a weak hit as above, but the agreement comes with a complication. So we're kind of just shifting the complication. Well, not really. But there are going to be consequences for this, let's be honest. Even without the weak hit. Because I'm going to burn my momentum. We're going to turn that into a strong hit. And we take +2 momentum, so we're back up to 4. But this is going to come back to bite us. Once again, Ash has taken a path that is going to put him in conflict unless he really delivers. So the guy is reaching up for like his the guy's reaching for like a little communicator. Maybe he's got like a half helmet type thing on or something, and before he can get there, Ash was probably nervously. I'm gonna say Ash's nervous habit is that he fiddles with the pommel of his sword. He's got little charms there that maybe he can fiddle with, and Ash makes that split-second decision of like, okay, so we're doing this. Grabs the hilt of his sword, and he's not gonna fully draw it, but he is gonna pull it out and just gut check the guy with it, and then it's a scuffle. It's, you know, he gut checks him, slams it back in, punches him, probably takes a hit himself, nothing serious. But there's a quick scuffle, and it ends up with the guard unconscious and Ash unlocking the door, and Scout Bond very confusedly looking up from the little cot that he was probably, or that they were probably sitting on, and just being like, looking at the unconscious guard and looking at Ash, utterly befuddled, and just being like, okay, what's going on? And Ash is just tosses the keys back on the guy's chest and just motions for Scout Bond, and it's like, we've got to go. This is not how I had planned it to go. We need to get out of here before somebody finds him. Let's move. I am going to say this counts as progress towards this vow because it is formidable, so it's going to take some time. We have secured an ally and overcome our lack of personal knowledge by gaining an asset. Not literally in the game, but still. I don't think Scout Bond would be in cuffs. He'd be in they'd be in basic clothes. I'm not gonna say orange jumpsuit, but you know, like the classic, like little, this homespun shirt and some pants, because you know we've got lots of natural fibers and stuff in this area. And Ash, once Vander Bond comes out and Ash starts to lead the way, he's just gonna be very, you know, straight back, stiff. It's he looks like he's on a mission. He's really just extremely nervous. Like this could go horribly wrong, at any second. But we did achieve our goal unconditionally. The guy is going to be out of it for a while. We prepared based on information from a match, so I'm just going to say we make it to the ship. He got his stuff beforehand. We've tried to do our stuff. We've tried to repair our ship. There's no other preparation we have to make. It's like bags are packed, we're going. He just had to pick up Vanderbond and go, so he just beelines it through the facility to his ship, and he made a copy of all the data before he handed over the actual device, so there's nothing left to do for that. So it's just punch in the coordinates and make the first jump. But there is something we can do real quick because of this. Where is Vanderbond? There. Believe we can develop our relationship, because I think breaking them out of confinement and taking them to a place that might have technology to help cure their illness is a it counts. Okay. So you just mark progress. So we're closer to going from just a person we know to an actual legitimate bond with Mr. Bond. All right, away we go. So this is undertake an expedition. When you trailblaze a route through perilous space, give your expedition a name and rank, and then for each segment, envision your approach. So we need progress thing of find the precursor site. I think this is just going to be troublesome because we have the coordinates, so it's just going to be a couple of quick jumps. We are going out of our sector, as we determined, but we're like right here in this path that leads out of the sector. So we're going to be starting a new sector, and let's see here. The way the map is supposed to be laid out for the Forge is it's kind of it might be intended to be a circle, but in the book it's more of like a like an arc of space where it's like the closest to the origin point is the terminus. That's like the founding area. That's where the organized and most well explored stuff. As we've found out, there's stuff like Dusk that is either forgotten about or unexplored stuff, but we're going into what is known as the Outlands, which is kind of the frontier. It's like the Wild West, where there's going to be some settlements here and there, but they're either going to be like far-flung colonies from their original colony ship, their capital ship, or they're going to be people who did not want to be part of that sort of organization. So we'll be going into we're on the edge of founded space. We're going to be going into the frontier with this, but I think we need to roll an expedition real quick. Undertake an expedition with Edge. I think we're just trying to get out of there and make our first jump as fast as possible. I don't think the spaceship has anything that helps in this. I'm forgetting. Yeah, this is just gives you the ability to do stuff. I need to Need to upgrade it if I want to get any bonuses for expeditions. Yeah. So, no bonuses. Very little momentum if we need it. Let's undertake an expedition post-haste. And that is a miss. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, we need to make a new sector to figure out what potential problems we might run into. So we are going to add a sector. All right. Had some technical difficulties, but it did make me realize something. I already named this sector. I remember going through and trying to find an appropriate name based on the conventions that we already had. So it is the Quada. I'll double check, make sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. Quada or Quada sector, named by the crew of the Matura who originally discovered it. I also realized that there's a little animation thing in the settings here that I can make the stars twinkle in the background, so I'll leave that on. Just a little screensaver type thing for when we're on the screen. So we already have a sector here. I will collapse this sector. Settle. I'm just going to generate one settlement for the sector. Do I have a set of dice? I do have a set of dice here. I'm just going to roll a d4 real quick on my own. And we're going to determine... I have some lovely dice. I don't even know where they're from. They do not have a name of the company on the box. Dice? DicedNDset.com. Kind of look like gemstones. They're not gemstone dice. They're just kind of cut like the old school D3s where you kind of roll them along the length like a log. That a lovely friend got me for my birthday. So D4, let's just see a D4 starting up top and coming counterclockwise. So it's coming from here. We're gonna say here is where we enter. Just to have a place to start. Here. Just to mark that we're there. And everywhere we go is gonna create a pathway. I'm just gonna kind of close my eyes and move my mouse. There's the settlement. What kind of settlement is it? Let's find out. It is a Outlands. Let's roll our, what kind of location is it? Planet side. So we know there's a planet, and I'm gonna say they just have a kind of like a beacon broadcast type thing going. That they're not too much, just like a little ping of here we are, here we go. Here's the whatchamajig. If you need it, come find us. Type situation. So what name are they broadcasting? Gloam. All right, all right. And how big are they? Dozens. So this is either some sort of emergency stop, or you know what I'm picturing. One of my favorite tropes, because I love ranger hunter type characters, and so I've read quite a few books with main characters like that, and one of my favorite tropes is kind of the agreed upon like supply cabin, where it's like in a region that is commonly traveled enough for people to be there, but not like settled, where they've got like someone built a cabin to survive the winter and then moved on. And it's just one of those things that's, if you need it, when you find it, you stay there. If you've got some extra food, like some extra provisions, you leave them behind for the next person. If you need, that way, you know, if you get there, it's like maybe there's some bandages, maybe there's some food, there's some pre-cut wood that's been a little kept out of the elements so you can start a fire, that sort of thing. So I'm thinking like a settlement like that. Like this is a planet, someone, a group of people maybe cleared a spot, set down a landing pad, and for starships to come and go, and then just kind of left a couple of very bare bones, probably mass manufactured, the type where it's like the wall is of pre-manufactured stuff that you just kind of connect together to form a structure. And it's just like, if you needed it, this place is, there's a beacon on that's like, hey, there's a spot to land for you to fix your ship or send out your distress signal or whatever. So that's, there's gonna be some people there, just from people passing through, but this isn't like a town or a place for where people permanently live. They might be waiting for other people to catch up. They might be stranded and hoping somebody comes by that has what they need. We'll probably go check that out. But I think that's all we're gonna do. This is a location, H1, H-1-12. We need to put this in the correct sector. And these are just extra sectors for me hitting the add sector button. So we'll repurpose those later on. But yeah, so we're gonna save a location, settlement. They're on a planet, but we don't know what kind of planet it is. We'll see there when we get there. You know what? I'm gonna change this to make a little more sense, because I'm gonna do. We're gonna do something here. I'm gonna mark that as empty. We're not gonna come in over there. We're gonna come in like right here, and we're gonna be right at Gloam, because I think the complication we get is that, one, the sectors are big, spaces kind of empty, so we have no idea where in this sector it is. Maybe the data was corrupted, maybe our navigation, I'm going to say our navigation devices have gone wonky. Whether it's a malfunction or what's the word I'm looking for, or it's something to do with this sector. Something's wrong. We have the coordinates, but we can't navigate ourselves to get there. So we have to land on this planet. Let's see what kind of planet we've got. We're in the Outlands. What type of planet is Gloam situated on? It's an ice planet. All right. I don't think we've had one of those yet. We've had a desert planet, we've had a rocky planet, and we've got a jungle planet. So, all right. So ice planet named Boreas, appropriate. Atmosphere. Corrosive. You know, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna veto that, because that does not make sense from what I already said it was. Let's see what the options are for an ice planet. Are they all the same? They're all the same, but they're not all the same chances, which makes sense. I'm just gonna set this breathable, because ice planets are already problem enough, and if this is like a refuge, I don't think they would have done it on a planet where the atmosphere is corrosive. So I'm going to veto the dice on this one and say that it is breathable. Although, as someone who lives in a northern climate a little bit, I am from the northern Midwest. I'm going to say that I very much understand what it's like living in a place where the air can make your face hurt. We do know that there is a planet-side, see here, settlements. Yeah. Okay. Planet side. So what do we see from space when we approach it? So they Ash and Scout Bond are in the cockpit. Or maybe Scout Bond is somewhere else in the ship. When we drop out of our Eidolon jump, and it's, all of a sudden alarms are going off, and it's because all of our navigation equipment is reading big question marks. The GPS is going, I don't know where you are. I got nothing to help you. So alarms are going off. Scout Bond appears in the cabin and is like, that doesn't sound good. What's going on? And Ash is flipping switches and hitting buttons and turning shit off and turning it back on, and he's just like, I don't know, something's wrong. I've got no navigation, but there's a planet right there, and they're setting out a beacon that's like, all travelers welcome. So I'm gonna take us down and see what we can do to fix this. And Scott Bond is like, what if the planet is the cause? It's like, if it is the cause, we can just fly away. Hopefully. It looks like there's some sort of settlement down there that it's like, I don't know. He points at the screen of the beacon broadcast. It's saying, travelers welcome, rest and repair. Bring your own supplies. So it's probably just a pit stop that somebody set up. But I'm gonna take us down so we can at least look at this and check if there's damage or something on the outside of the ship. So we'll zoom out on the camera of as Ash starts to navigate down towards the planet. What the planet looks like as Vanderbond kind of peeks out one of the windows and takes in this planet. A world spanning ice canyon. So there's this visible from space canyon, probably of what would be like an ocean. Sorry, my brain just shut down for a second. On a normal world, on a non-icy world, would probably be a low spot, like an ocean. There is this giant canyon that like kind of splits the world all the way around. I'm gonna say, looking at it from what would be like the north up, is this kind of like a slash across the globe diagonally from our perspective of like upper right to lower left, kind of going around, not like a hemisphere divider of like up and down, left and right, but it does cut this planet almost in half. As we see it, but then as we get in lower and start flying through the atmosphere and can kind of see below us, well, what else do we see? Rocky islands amid icy wastes. So there are mountains here. I think it's gonna be long, flat expanses of ice with just spires of what would be islands or mountains on a normal world. or like a or an what would be like islands in an ocean are just kind of rock spires sticking out of the ice. And I'm gonna say the settlement. I'm gonna put this under first look. I'm gonna say the settlement is like nestled in between a couple of these rocky islands. Like there's maybe a couple of, it was like a ring of or a closely packed couple of islands that has made like a little bowl with almost like a shield of mountains surrounding it. It's obviously not going to take up the whole part of this area, but it's they chose that spot, whoever built this, because the mountains protect from like the winds and the winter storms and stuff like that. The weather is lessened. There's a bit of a shield from the environment. But is there any life that we have to worry about? There is some life. Okay, so I'm sure that won't come back to at all cause an issue. So Ash and Scout Bond find this place and lower themselves onto an empty landing pad, and there's a couple ships there. There's a handful of ships, and looking around, there's obviously a problem. Our problem is that I wonder if there's a suggested settlement trouble. Okay, I am going to I'm gonna say I've got an idea. Just so gathering up their stuff and going outside. Ash obviously has his Evo suit to protect him from the elements, and once again he can lend a spare one that probably isn't as nice and like Ash's is nice and tailored to him and form-fitting and stuff like that, so he can like fight and move and stuff in it. Scout Bond's probably, it's not nearly as nice. It's a more generic environmental suit that will help keep him warm at least. And they go outside, and Ash climbs up onto the ship, and he's looking at it, and Scout Bond is looking up at him, and he's like, well, what's wrong with it? And Ash just has to peek his head, and he's like, it looks fine, nothing's damaged. And Ash is kind of scratching his helmet, looking around, and when he looks around, he sees a group of people gathered at a nearby building, and it's odd considering that, you know, it's cold out. It's really cold, so you wouldn't think people would gather outside unless something's going on. And he points to it to get Scout Bond to look, and then climbs down. He's like, let's go check it out. Maybe someone will be able to tell us what's going on around here. And they walk up, and they can hear people like raised voices and yelling, and it's like, we've got to do something about this, and it's like, they have no right, and stuff like that. And Ash is getting a sense that something's up, obviously. And someone notices him, and the crowd points it out. The crowd turns to face them, and Ash just kind of holds his hands up because he's obviously armed and stuff, so he is showing that he's not approaching. And he's just like, sorry to interrupt, folks. We're just trying to fix our ship here. We ran into some trouble when we jumped into the sector. Our navigation stuff went all haywire. You know, what's going on? And that is when the crowd will reveal that a group of ne'er-do-wells has taken up residence in Gloam and is trying to make it their hideout, their HQ. So they want to be able. Apparently, a group of people are extorting travelers. They've set up some sort of device that is preventing navigation and stuff like that. They've got some sort of jammer, and because you jump into the sector so close to the planet, you instantly get caught up in it. You land, and then it's like, oh well, we can give you the codes and stuff to clear your systems up, but it's going to cost you, type thing. And they're extorting people for everything they can get out of them. So what they're gonna do, and Ash kind of sighs, and then Scout Bond sighs because they know what's coming. Ash is like, all right, well, I'm a member of the group called the Shattered Regiment. We help with stuff like this, so if it's something I can take care of, I'll take care of it. If you people seem to be getting ready to deal with it yourselves, so if you want my help, I'm here. If you people think that it's not something you can handle, I can go take a look and maybe take care of it myself. I've got training to deal with stuff like this. And so Ash we're gonna swear a vow. Just a little one. That down here. Where I've like completely forgotten how to use all this stuff in the time I've been away. We are gonna swear a vow. And he's like, Ash is just like, I'm gonna help you guys take care of this. This is what we do. This is something he can handle. So he's going to swear a vow. And this does feel like more of a bounty contract to, get the criminals. So we will roll plus heart plus 1. Add a quick little vow. This one's just going to be troublesome, I think, because this is going to be a quick find the thing, organize, assess the situation, and then break the stuff, probably, or get them to deactivate it and talk them down. Whatever we end up trying to do. So it's find the source of the interference and disable it. We don't necessarily have to destroy it, of course. Okay, I thought that didn't look right. Troublesome. Let us swear our vow. We roll when you swear a vow. You roll plus heart. If you swear it to a connection, add plus 1. This is not a connection. However, we do get plus 1 from our bounty hunter contract. So he is going to get a weak hit and join the fight. So on a weak hit, you are determined to begin your quest. You are determined, but begin your quest with more questions than answers. So we're gonna have to do some investigating. This is just on a strong hit, so that doesn't help us at all, but it will help us when we fulfill our vow. We do get plus 1 momentum though. So with that, I think we're gonna end the episode here, and start our next one on our adventure in Gloam. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the start of our next leg of our adventure here, and I hope you want to see more. If you do, give us a like and subscribe so you can get notified when we post the next one. I should be back on schedule. I do get some time off around the holidays, so maybe we'll get an extra episode in somewhere, or maybe I'll do some sort of holiday one-shot. I've got a lot of solo RPG stuff, so maybe I'll see if we can swing one that's somehow holiday or solstice-y themed. But until next time, hope you all have a lovely day. Thank you again for watching, and have a good one.